I'd like to carry on a little bit further with this discussion and also consider it as the sky with the clouds, because that's where I am more. A few years ago, I got involved with trying to save the elephants. And I really got, because of that, I got led into a lot of animal issues. And there's an enormous amount of suffering. And not just with animals, but I'm really greatly moved by the suffering of the innocent. So, you know, like the Syria thing with the boats and all of that. But animals are a place where I've actually been active and taken an activist role. And at the same time, I've really been deepening my spiritual work. Earlier today you were talking about how the most important thing that you can do is awaken. I really believe that. You were also talking about how the essence of awareness is contentment. When I've experienced awareness, oneness, my sense of it has been that it doesn't care. And when you talked today about contentment, I really liked that. I thought, oh, I'm just misunderstanding. I'm not really getting what this is. It opened up a window for me, which is good, really good for me to hear. But my motivation for being active comes from resistance to what is. I see the suffering. I see, you know, I'll get into a petition campaign, or I'll organize a march, or that sort of thing, and it feels like it comes out of resistance. So I guess my question, I have a couple of questions. One is, where does the motivation come when you, when I move further into this? And the other thing is I'd just like to hear comments from you when whatever comes up with you about activism or trying to serve the suffering in whatever realm it might happen to be from this place. How does that manifest?
What is behind? You say the work you do with elephants comes out of resistance to what is, a resistance to the cruelty and the suffering that you see. So yes, the first layer is resistance, but if you were to go behind the resistance, where does the resistance come from? I
have gone there, and I find that it's love.
Exactly.
And I know, and when I go through crises, just recently there was a horrific event that took place in China with dogs, and I knew what was happening, and I spent that entire day holding dogs in my mind and my heart, just loving those dogs.
That's beautiful. That's with that particular incident, maybe that's as much as you could do. There may be other instances that are maybe closer to home when you can do something more than that. And of course, what is closest to home, closer than anything else, is the way we actually lead our own lives, let alone interfering with the lives of others who are not living this love and understanding. So the very first thing is to just check in our own lives, are we doing anything to contribute to the cruelty and suffering of other human beings or animals? That's the place to start. Once we can say, to the best of my ability, I am not doing anything to cause cruelty to another being, then, if we feel moved to do so, we could then become involved with saving elephants or dogs. That would be an expression of our love and understanding. Somebody else with the same impulse may become a musician, or may become a doctor, or an acupuncturist, or a painter, or there are so many ways that that the intuition that at the deepest level we are one, because that's the experience of love. That's what love is, the recognition that we are one. And when you feel that that is violated, when you see an animal, or when you even hear of animals in China being treated in terrible ways, you feel that it's happening to you. It breaks your heart. It's you. You feel it's your own being that you feel is being violated, and the outrage you feel is not an egoic resistance to what is. It is sacred outrage. This behavior goes against the facts of experience. This behavior is not in line with love and understanding. So each person is, by which in this context I mean each body-mind, has different skills and sensitivities and proclivities, and so each person will be motivated to express this love and understanding in different ways. Some will become activists, some will stay at home looking after their family, or become a teacher in the local school, and will bring this understanding to the children in their class. And the children in their class will grow up, and 40 years later, when they're talking about primary school, they'll say, we had this amazing English teacher at school that lit up my imagination. So there are so many ways to express this understanding that at the deepest level we are one, which is love. And if your body-mind is drawn particularly towards caring for animals, then follow that. Don't inhibit your action with pseudo non-dual reasoning. Oh, this is just resistance to what is. Consciousness doesn't care about anything, so therefore it doesn't matter if we treat other people or animals cruelly. I'm not suggesting for a minute that you're doing that.
Well, I just get pissed. I get pissed at God. Like that's where I have been. But I've also wondered whether the experience of love that I have is even mine. I don't even know.
No, the experience of love is God's being shining in your mind.
I wondered.
Ultimately, there is no me. There is only...
Yes.
When each of us refers to ourselves as I, or when each of us goes to the feeling of being, which is expressed in the mind in the terms I am, that feeling of being is the only being there is. It is God's infinite being. That is what love is, the recognition that being is God's being. There is no individual being. The individual being, the finite, the separate self, is an illusion. It's not there.
Right. I'm still on the hook, though. I keep flipping back and forth.
Well, that's fine to flip back and forth, but in time, just go more back than forth.
Yes, got it. Thank you. Well, there's a lot more comfort over here than it is out there. It's not useful to me or to anybody.
Yes.
So the motivation then becomes... It's more focused on the love. It's just, that's what I've been thinking, that it's focused, it's not, the resistance is there. I hear about something that's happening and I feel the resistance, but then I bring up the love.
Resistance is necessary.
Okay.
Don't, resistance at a relative level is absolutely necessary. Huh. Why Why when you are hungry, do you feel impelled to eat? The feeling of hunger is uncomfortable. What would have happened to the human race if the feeling of hunger was pleasurable?
Oops.
We would have petered out long ago.
Maybe that would have been okay.
Why do you think orgasms are so pleasurable and the feeling of hunger is so unpleasant?
Yeah.
It serves the perpetuation of the species.
Yes, it does.
So the resistance, what I'm saying is that the resistance to the experience of hunger is a legitimate resistance. It's wired into the body. It's the intelligence of the body.
All right.
Saying, look after me, feed me. And the way it sends that message is by this slightly uncomfortable sensation which seeks to be relieved by eating or drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry. The question is not, is this resistance? The question is, what is this resistance motivated by? Is this resistance motivated by the fears, the desires, the neuroses, the anxieties of a separate self? Or is it motivated by love and intelligence? If it's motivated by love and intelligence, then follow the resistance.
All right.